I anchored my soul to the heaven of rest. In my early days as a broadcaster in the Philippines, that was my theme of my daily broadcast. I started young as a radio broadcaster, being heard to the different provinces of the Philippines. And when they will hear that song, they will truly say, I'm glad I'm at peace with God. And my soul is anchored. Dear friends, it's a joy to come and worship with you here. I just came from Andrews University. We just experienced the gathering of 1,000 pastors on how we will be able to finish the work of God. 3,000 evangelistic meetings with 3,000 budget, with 3,000 lay pastors, administrators, evangelists in this evangelistic season. It's a joy to be a part of God's work. On my way there, I was seated with a man who is so dignified. He introduced himself as a bishop, a cardinal of the Roman Catholic Church. While we were seated together at the business class, he asked me, what am I doing? And before I responded, I asked him, since I see that he has a clerical collar, he mentioned I lead the Roman Catholic Church in the eastern part of the United States. And finally, I introduced myself as a leader of the Pacific Union, serving as a vice president. I mentioned that I am a Seventh-day Adventist. And he was so astounded when I said that I graduated from the Roman Catholic University. And he said, well, where is the place? It's in LaSalle, in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania. He said he was in the class 2001, finishing his highest degree in theology. And to his surprise, I told him I was in that class too. And he said, Father Vic, he called me Father Vic because I went to the Roman Catholic University. Tell me why you love the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And I responded humbly and I said, well, the Seventh-day Adventist Church, a group of Christians who follow the Bible the closest. Who follow the Bible the closest. And he said, Vic, let's connect. Because I myself, I want to know more about the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Don't you realize that according to the United Nations, all those nations that came together to bond to represent a united front, we have 239 nations registered to compose a strong movement to protect our borders, to protect our interests, to protect the people of the expanding growth of civilization here on earth. I would like to mention here that the Seventh-day Adventist Church, according to the colloquial of theologians that I attended. As a professor at Andrews, I usually attend these big meetings, and I was so surprised. I almost melted when the president of that colloquium mentioned that the fastest growing church on earth today, 2024, is the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Are you not happy that we belong to a group of people? We have a God that is soon to appear. That we need to be a part of that gospel commission according to the book of Matthew 28, until that book on the final 2 chapters to the 20th of Matthew, the gospel commission. We are all called to be disciples. I'm so happy that today we will be dedicating all our officers from these 2 wonderful churches. I'm so happy that there are deacons and elders that will be ordained to the ministry. Don't realize that the roles that you will be taking as part of the Seventh-day Adventist Church will mark the 4 principles or the 4 quadrants of commissioning when you will be called to become a leader of the local church. The first part of that commission, according to the General Conference, whom they voted in October 13, 2009, that the first commission is the ministry of preaching. Well, I'm just a deacon, I cannot preach. Or I'm just a soprano, I cannot preach. But dear friends, the best sermon that you can relate to the world is your life. The best sermon you can preach is the thing that people can see in Walmart, that you are honest. You represent a God, no matter people are looking at you or not, you stand with integrity. As a member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, that's the best sermon as a preacher, that you can relate yourself to other people. Second commission, the ministry of teaching. You can only be a leader of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. You can just be a member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church when we walk the talk. We have 28 fundamental beliefs. As you review these tenets of this church of the last days, how many of these beliefs can your life relate to others? The very reason why we are afraid to face people when they ask us, what church do you belong? I was in a Walmart in Beaumont, California about a few weeks ago. I know he is an elder of a certain church in that locality. A young kid asked this elder with a question that many times are being asked to each of you. And the kid said, what church do you belong? And the elder said, well, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. Many, many times we make that word Christian as a mask because we are afraid to tell people that we keep the Sabbath. We are the temple of God. And we experience lifestyle that prepares men and women to heaven. We are ashamed to tell people that we are Seventh-day Adventist Christians. Friends, we are part of the ministry of teaching. Many people today go to the Philippines, they go to Southeast Asia, they go to Africa, they go to all parts of the world to become missionaries. But you know what? They didn't realize that at their backyard is the world. We no longer go to other foreign lands to preach the gospel because those people from the foreign lands, they are at our backyard. We haven't mentioned the message. They don't know about us. It's very sad. I was in a church in Arizona. And I talked to the group of people there and said, I see that there are some people near the church. Have you told them about the message about Jesus? And finally, there's a U-Haul that came by. And I've observed that on a Sabbath day, at the back of the church, this family are moving somewhere to the East Coast. I asked the members of the church if they have done their assignment before these people left. And they said, well, we missed. We want to be honest. We missed the opportunity. We missed the opportunity. The ministry of teaching is something that we need to live up as a principle on how, as officers, how leaders and members could affirm that we are part of the final message. We are in a movement, a teaching movement, not only educators who are in our academies or elementary schools or in our university. We need to do ourselves the opportunity to develop how we will teach others to follow Jesus from darkness to light. The third kind of commissioning that God has brought on this earth is the ministry of healing. Thank you, Lydia. You're from Mountain View College, just like me. I'm very proud of that message that you have just elucidated. We need, before the Lord will come, not only to listen to wonderful lectures, but we need to see to it that we experience the healthy lifestyle that will bring us into a reformation, that the likeness of Jesus can be on us, living the light, a lifestyle of health, a ministry that we can do to many people. I read an article that in the last days, the right hand of the message will be the only tool that the enemy will not touch you. That's why many pastors now are learning how to bake. They're now ready to learn how to massage, learning how to do some things, because in the last days, many pastors will be in jail. In the last days, we will be doing medical missionary work, hydrotherapy, cooking classes, trying to see how we will be able to survive in the last days. In fact, I was told, well, as a professor, I do some research, that the best place in the last days is to be near our healthcare institutions. The best place to be is when we are doing to minister to our neighbors through the medical missionary work. Although Sunday Law is coming, you know, there are evidences that those people who will be working in the agenda of God, in health reform, and health and healthy lifestyle will be the last people to be touched by the movement of the enemy in the last days. Amen? So be sure that we are a part of the medical ministry or the healing ministry of the church. Finally, in order for us to savor the importance on how we will be able to minister in the last days, I hope the officers are listening, and the members as well, because the final ministry that each one of us in the church is the ministry of discipleship. This afternoon, if you can still come, I want you to come and listen the 10 facts why many churches are stuck and they cannot move forward to do the work of God for the future. And I will also be teaching this afternoon at the Central Church about the 10 qualities on how we can keep our churches growing by investing your time from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock this afternoon. You will learn how we will be able to disciple, how we will become a lighthouse in our communities. And you know, in order for us to be disciples, there are 5 things that we need to do. Number 1, we need to experience a spiritual renewal and revival. Many people are very active doing Bible studies. Many people are very active in doing some ministry work. But when they fail to connect in communion with God, with revival, your work is nothing. The importance of the connection to God with a personal revival, according to Ellen White, is the success of growth. The success of bringing more souls to the kingdom of God. Number 1, spiritual revival and renewal. Before doing His work, you need to get to know Him first. You need to be able to study the attributes of God. Why He is powerful to be your help in finishing God's work in the future. Number 2, the time has come that we need to train members for ministry. Ellen White is very clear that in the last days, every church should be a school of souls saving. It's not PUC. It's not La Sierra. It's not Andrews University where I teach. It is the church. This afternoon I will tell you more how we will be able to train our members for ministry. Even just answering a phone call can be a ministry. Your telephone is your own ministry. In North America, we're trying to recruit 50,000 digital evangelists. Who are digital evangelists? People who will use their TikTok, their Facebook, their X to share the wonderful gospel of Jesus. Dear friends, number 3, in order for us to be a part of the ministry of discipleship, we need to see to it that we need to attract more people to Jesus. Community service, many programs about health, family, and finances. And let's go to number 4. After we have done the spiritual renewal, training members to ministry, attracting people to Jesus, it's time to reap the harvest. The field is ripe, but the workers are few. And finally, in order for us to complete the call to you ministers, to you elders, to you leaders of this church, we need to see to it that we can experience the transformation of members from membership to discipleship. It is my prayer that with the core thoughts that I have just mentioned to you, we will be able to finish the work. Officers, elders, deacons who will be dedicated today, I would like you to be affirmed that we can be a part of this mission. We are together in finishing His work.